Hello and welcome to this special series of episodes called 29 Days of Magic. During Black History Month, the month of February, I'll be interviewing a Black woman a day who's from business and entrepreneurship. You name it, I'm going to have a chat with her. The idea for this is to show off the amazingness of Black women throughout various industries. I hope you take a listen, like, share, review, and be inspired by these incredible stories. Take a listen. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the THERESET podcast. I'm your host, Laura Mignot, CEO of the culture communications agency, The Flash. Each episode, I bring a different business leader who's doing some game-changing work. And this episode is no different. I am so excited to have Valerie Wray, who is the founder and CEO of the 125 collection. We're going to talk business, how she got here, her move to Georgia, and so much more. It will be a great conversation. Take a listen. Hey, Valerie.
Hey.
It's another day in February.
Yes. The month is almost over, but February was good. So happy to be here.
Yes, it's basically Happy Black History Month.
History Month.
So I always kick off the podcast with the same question. I'm always delighted by the answers. I'm sure yours will be no different. So, Valerie, what was your first job?
So my first job, my very, very first job I was 15 and I worked at the Museum of Science in Kentucky, and we were called Volunteens, and we had these awful t-shirts they had this big Volunteen across the chest like Superman, and I absolutely hated that job. But the more impactful first job would have been the one after graduate school. And I was working for Macy's merchandising group. I can't even really remember the official title, but I basically did corporate comms and events for all of the buyers and designers for Macy's, Lord Taylor, Bloomingdale's. So I just love that job because I got off the train at 34th Street. I saw the lights, the shops, all of that good stuff. And I literally felt like Carrie Bradshaw with a 9-to-5. I'm originally from Kentucky, so that was like a big deal. So
you were like, this is not what the life I thought I was going to have.
This is it. I loved it because coming from Kentucky and being
in New York.
And then I went to graduate school at Columbia. And then after Columbia, that was my first, real job. And that's when I was like, you know what? I love New York City. I'm definitely staying.
Awesome. So you became Carrie Bradshaw,
yes.
And you were living that life.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get from being Carrie Bradshaw to now? What's that career journey been like?
It has been really, I don't know if it's unusual, but I feel like I've been a jack of all trades all my life. And the common thread to everything that I did was always a new business, a new idea that I wanted to try out. So after Macy's, so that's mainly I was in the fashion industry, but I was doing events. And then from Macy's, I went into the spa industry. And I was always, when I went to graduate school, I was studying org psych. So I was always working in some sort of human resource capacity. So from, Macy's merchandising group, I then went to a spa, and I was doing the HR and operations for that. And that was in Brooklyn. And then from there, I went to LA and was doing HR for a startup of boutique markets. They were like little Whole Foods, but it was called Fresh and Easy. So, and it was a UK based company. And then from there, I moved back to New York because I just love New York so much. I moved back to New York and started working for Sony Music in HR, and then kind of shifted, career paths and went more into the marketing side and started doing experiential marketing. And during all of those jobs that I had, I always had another business that I was trying to start. So I had a online clothing company. Then I did a flash tattoo company. I don't know if you remember those flash tattoos that everyone was wearing about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started one of those.
My gosh.
A flash tattoo company. I've done real estate as like a second job. And I was never really doing it for the money. It was because I really enjoyed doing new things and starting new businesses. I've just always loved doing that. I always had a full-time job. So, whatever I made, if I made anything, was not the reason why I was doing it, and from there, once I really became grounded, and after all of the mistakes I have made in those other small businesses, I then started the 125 collection with the candle company. And from there, I took all of the things that I did wrong and said, okay, I know everything that I did wrong over the last three businesses. Let's start over and try to do this right this time. So really, the 125 collection, we're a luxury candle brand that was born in Harlem, and it's named after the legendary 125th Street. And the unique thing about, the brand is that each candle has a quote on it that's created to empower, inspire, or entertain. So it's been an amazing journey, and we're now, and I say we're because I couldn't have done any of this by myself, but I have people that help me, and I at one point did have a business partner, but she decided to move on to another dream that she really wanted to work on. And that's some of the ups and downs with just having a business and starting a business with two people and ending with one. It's like Destiny. Beyonce became Beyonce, but she also was Destiny's child first.
Oh, yeah. Don't I know it?
Yeah. So it's a lot of ups and downs, but the candle brand is definitely here to stay, and super excited about where it's going.
I love this candle brand. I am so glad that our mutual friend Jen connected us, because I was
gosh, yes.
Because I was like, I have seen these everywhere. I had no idea that this was you. So I went to the website to go do my homework before talking to you, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Because one of the things I love, the favorite one that I think I'm going to buy as soon as this show is over is. I'd be in my feelings for a moment, then I snap back and realize who the fuck I am, and I'm like, I want on a t-shirt. I can give you, not to give you more work to do, but can you make a t-shirt for that and send it to me?
That, what's so funny about that particular candle? The candles have, I've created them so that they fit about 3 different personality types. So if you're sassy or edgy, candles like that have like cuss words, and those are for you. And then if you have more of a sweet personality, I have sweet, lovely, nice quotes. And then if you're a more spiritual person, there's quotes for the candles for that as well. But that particular candle, I start, over time, they become viral, or like mini viral. I won't say viral, but I noticed that I think it was Essence put that candle on their website, in some digital promotion. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, magazines are now putting F-bombs. I mean, I was super excited, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe out of all the candles, they put that one up, because it's so true for many of us. It's like Black women especially, we go through a whole lot, and it's just like, wait a minute, don't forget your magic, girl. You need light this candle and remember who the fuck you are.
Well, it's honestly, and it's funny because I think it is very much a part of the mantra of why I'm doing 29 days, because I this was born out of the idea that I went to a dinner, and I was surrounded by these amazing Black women, and I didn't know any of them except for the one who had invited me. And I'm like, wait a minute, how is it? I don't know you all. This is my job as a person who produces events around the world to know all the best people who look like me, to put them up on stage. And if I don't know you, that's your problem, not mine.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, you all need to remember who the fuck y'all are, and remember and celebrate who you are, and tell people who you are. Because if we don't, nobody else will. And I think that's a big part of this experience, is that tell people the stuff that you have done, that you do and are doing. Because it's so important.
Yes, I think that has been probably one of the most difficult things for me, because as a CEO and a founder, I don't like necessarily, putting my picture on social media and telling people about at first. And then I realized no one's going to be a better spokesperson for this brand than myself, because of the passion that I put behind it, and what I know that, the energy that it gives people and how they make people feel. There's nobody better than me to at least talk about the product, and over time, when people experience and use the product, they're talking about it too. And I'm sure we'll get into that later, but just word of mouth has been the biggest, gift that I've had, since the beginning of this business.
So yeah, so talk to me about that. So like, how did you sort of know when you're like, wow, people are into this. This is going viral.
When I started noticing, and it took a while, because when we first started, we were doing a lot of pop-ups. We were doing artists and fleas, and it was really taxing on the body because these candles are heavy, and we like people to be able to customize it. So if you have a quote you want, you can pick the scent you want. So we're dragging labels and then 3 or 4 different scents of candles. So every box of candles costs weighs 50 pounds. So we're carrying, maybe 3 or 4 50-pound boxes and labels. So I really do think with us being in New York City, we were able to, when people were coming to these pop-ups and these flea markets and things like that, they were magazine editors we didn't know. They were shop owners, of, boutiques, and we didn't know. And then over time, we would see stuff pop up in magazines. And for a little while, we had a PR agency at the very beginning. And then after, I would say maybe 2 years, we said, you know what, funds are getting tight. We can't afford the PR agency anymore. But I honestly started noticing more of things becoming viral over the last 2 years. And one of the things that I was so interesting, I went to Cartagena 2 years ago on vacation, and I was there by myself, and I ran into a Black woman that was at the same Airbnb that I was in. And we were just talking, and we hit it right off. And it was like, oh, you're here by yourself and I'm here by myself. Let's hang out. So we were hanging out, and I was just telling her what I do. And I said, oh yeah, I have a candle business. And she was like, yeah, you do. And I said, yeah, let me show you. And I showed it to her, and she said, oh my goodness. She said, I was going to buy that candle. And I'm like, are you serious? And then it happened again when I was at a music festival. And it was a music festival in Georgia. And I met a woman there, a Black woman. She was from Brooklyn. And I told her what I did. And I showed her the candle, and she said, I literally just bought this candle at Peace and Riot in Brooklyn for my niece. And I'm like, are you serious? And these are people that, that's when I was like, wait a minute, we're getting around, and it's so deceiving, because sometimes you think, and don't get me wrong, like social media, we need the followers, we need more people talking about it. But you would think that I would have had hundreds of thousands of followers just to be having these, random encounters with people that have experienced my candle. And I didn't. And that's when I was like, okay, this is really working. And now that I haven't had a PR, I haven't had any type of PR representation in over 3 years. And I've been in the brand itself has been in so many magazines. We don't know, the editors aren't reaching out. We just happen to see, like, the way I know that it's been in a magazine is that one particular candle will sell like back to back to back. And it's like, what's going on? And luckily on the back end of the website, you can tell where those sales are coming from. And then you kind of have to do your research and say, oh, okay, this was Marie Claire. So we must be in Marie Claire. Let me Google Marie Claire and see if the 125 shows up. And that's how I've been finding out. So it's just been over time. Luckily, it's just been in the right hands, and people are talking about it. And I'm just so grateful for it,
That's so awesome and so well deserved, because there's so many folks who pay for the likes, pay for the clout, and you all were just doing the work and making it all come together.
Yes, and it's been a lot of work. It's not easy, it's just not. It's not an easy thing, but will I do it again and over? Yes, because it has been so fulfilling. And when you get that email or that DM from that customer that said, I got your candle as a gift and I'm going through a bad breakup. And it was actually that candle that you were referring to. She said that her girlfriends gave that to her because she was single. She's been single all through the pandemic, and it's just been really, she's been really down about it. And she just sent an email and said that, she appreciates the candle. And I'm like, yes, that is what we're here for, to lift you up.
Absolutely. And so, so true. So, as you said, it was not easy building a business. Can you talk about a time when you had a challenge where you're like, okay, there's no way this is going to work, and then you made it through?
Yeah, I would say recently, during the pandemic. So the business started in 2015, but we started actually selling and trading in 2016. So and that at the time I had a business partner, and we were doing a lot of things around the city. Like I said, pop-ups, dragging candles in the snow and the cold. But
Mhm.
it's like you have to do it. And it got to a point where, she wanted to move on. And I thought, well, do I stay? And in my gut, I felt like it's just year 4, and I know that seems like a long time for other people, but what I learned from those other businesses, stopping them too soon, is that I think I would have had something great if I just would have stuck with it. And so I said, you know what? This is going to be hard. I'm going to have to do it by myself. I'm literally rubbing 2 nickels together to get stuff paid for. But I feel like just the reactions that I'm getting from the people that do see it was encouragement for me to keep going. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. So I moved all my stuff upstate. And I live in Harlem, but I had a friend that had a house upstate who had like an extra room, and he had what is it called? A temp controlled garage. And I said, you know what? I'm moving everything in there. We're going to operate the 125 collection out of Hudson. And it was and I'm single, I don't have kids. So the flexibility to do that really helped, So I was doing everything by myself. I was labeling, I was packing them, I was shipping them out of Hudson. I was just doing whatever I had to do. And I knew, like, I just felt like it was on the cusp of being great. You know what I mean? So I just kept going. And I would say that was the most difficult time. And then as the pandemic, once people were locked in at home, locked up, locked in at home, sales started picking up, which is typically the slow time of the year. Usually by March or April, when spring hits, people aren't buying candles. They may be buying maybe like a room spray, that's something that we're working on right now. But typically they aren't buying candles, but because people knew they were going to be at home in front of their computers, they wanted their house to be comfortable and luxurious and smell good, sales started picking up. And I thought to myself, what if I had quit the year before, And now the business is starting to pivot. I can pay my bills. I can pay someone to help me. All of that changed in a matter of like 6 months. And it has been going so strong since then. And it's almost like I'm pinching myself, because you have to get rest when you're feeling burnt out. And if you believe in your business, you can't stop. And I'm so glad I didn't. So it has been a roller coaster, but I now feel like I'm in a place where everything I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And, there's a lot of things that I want to do. But I will get to greatness soon. But it has been a upward, up and downs, since the very beginning.
Awesome. Well, the road is just a road. It is bumpy, it is wide, it is windy, but it's a road to get you where you need to go, and you will find your way. So
Yeah.
you just have to do it, and
Yeah.
it's all kind of crazy. It's just all kind of crazy. And so obviously we were working through a pandemic. How did you adapt? And not only through the global pandemic, but also a racial pandemic that was happening in the moment of last summer. Like, how was that for you as a company?
As a company, things picked up, because people were there. But then I was then in a situation where it's like, okay, in order for me to keep, getting candles in hands and in the mail, I have to start production, and there's money that I need to do that, So that was getting a little scary. So it was really during the pandemic, reaching out to the small business associations and getting, I was able to apply for one of the small business emergency loans, utilizing, my credit. But it allowed me to then work with my production team and the manufacturers to get, the candles done. And then what else happened? There was so much that happened during the pandemic, but really utilizing like small business associations and organizations that were there to help me, so I was able to get, it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to get me what I needed to continue building the business. So really just going through that. And then I think because people were home, they were taking pictures of their candles and they were, posting them on Instagram and they were tagging us. And then after the unfortunate, incident with George Floyd, so many people, that's when the whole "we want to support Black businesses" kind of popped up. And it's like, well, I've been here for 5 years, but I so appreciate it, but not only just corporations reaching out, but just out, the community really supporting, one another and saying, you want a candle, this is a Black brand, support them. And, really just, getting a word of mouth. And like I said, the business, obviously we want the business to grow. And I know with more marketing dollars that we're able to put behind it, things will be even better. But right now, the pandemic has been word of mouth, and it's been, fantastic, from a business and sales standpoint.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we had that kind of reckoning and moment, and those of us were able to adapt and have been able to flourish. And so it's wonderful to hear. We're so excited to have Soho Works as the sponsor for the 29 Days of Magic campaign. They're designed by Soho House, and their workspaces to help creative thinkers, businesses small and large, connect, collaborate, and grow. And it's where I'm recording all the episodes of 29 Days of Magic. It's a safe, wonderful, and collaborative experience. I'm currently in the Brooklyn location, but they have locations, one else in New York City, in the Meatpacking District, one in LA, 5 in the UK, and they give you that kind of home away from home feeling with all the tools, technology, equipment to help you do your best work. Like I said, it's an amazing location, feels safe. I've been able to meet some really awesome people, which you haven't been able to do a lot because of the fact of COVID. So it's been a wonderful experience being able to record here and help build community. So if you want to find out more information about it, please go to sohoworks.com to get more information and tell them I sent you. And now back to the show. So with doing all of that, what have you been doing for Valerie? What are you doing for self-care?
Well, I have to be better at it. I really do. But what I have been doing now that things have settled down, I bring a massage therapist, COVID compliant, to, wherever I am. And I was doing this a lot in Harlem too, but once the business started picking up, I just wasn't doing it as much. I have a massage therapist that comes by, and we have it timed every 2 weeks, and that's what I do. She comes, I get my massage, I relax, I watch a good movie. I love to cook. So when I cook, that really relaxes me. So I'll cook, and I'm trying to be vegan-ish. Mm-hmm. So, I'll cook and try to get my bi-weekly massage. And that's what I try to do for the most part for self-care. But I do know as an entrepreneur, I need to do even more than that, just mainly like a daily self-care, thing. I mean, I try to take all my green supplements and my drinks. I do that, but I have to do a little bit more, I think.
We have to take care of ourselves because we cannot run ourselves ragged.
Yes.
Because it will not be good, and then we will not be able to enjoy all the fruits of our labor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But good that you're getting some stuff done. And like the bi-weekly massage therapist is fantastic.
Oh,
I wish I could do that. Oh my God. I had a massage last week at a spa for the first time in almost a year. And I was like, can I take you with me? Yeah. And you can just like, because this is awesome.
And, it's honestly, it's just as, I find it less expensive than going to a spa. And I look at it as, if I was in the city and we were not in a pandemic, that money would have easily been spent on cocktails and dinners. And so,
right.
I'm utilizing that for a massage therapist, and there are quite a few that will travel to you. So it's been, that's what I do. And when she comes, I'm ready to let her in. She sets up the table. While she's setting up the table, I go put on my robe. I of course light my 125 collection candles, and it's a whole vibe.
I was gonna say, like, you can move perfectly more than anybody else. You have the candles.
She walks in and she's like, "Okay, do I need to do anything?" Like just the spa music and the table, and we're ready to go.
We are ready to rock.
Mm-hmm.
So, thinking about what you've been able to do, chartling through the snow and now going viral and being successful, what do you think you'd tell 21-year-old Valerie?
I would tell 21-year-old Valerie to trust her gut, because I look back on so many times that I thought, what if, and then like, nah, I don't know what I'm thinking. No, don't do that. But the older I've become, I noticed that anytime that you get that gut intuitive feeling, it's like, go with it. And that was kind of like with the business too, when it was just kind of a stale point in the business where there was just no traction. It was kind of like whatever we made, we spent, and but it wasn't enough where we were growing. And then, to have a business partner exit, it was just like, okay, well, maybe I should leave, maybe we should just quit altogether. But my gut told me, nope, stay with it. You got something good. And I have been listening to my gut now for about the last 5 years, and it will never stray, it won't lead you in the wrong direction ever. So that's what I would tell the 21, 25-year-old Valerie.
Awesome. And fantastic advice, because I think it's like, sometimes you think, oh, like if your gut's telling you, you've got to follow your gut.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't think, don't know if, no, and, or buts about it, because we all have that little voice in our head that isn't going to steer us wrong. And it's so key.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then the last question for you, do you have a give and or an ask of the audience?
Well, the ask would be to, check us out on Instagram. The Instagram handle is at the 125 collection. Consider us for, any type of gift for, someone special, for yourself, because you are special. And the give, I just thought of this. I would love to give your viewers a discount on a candle.
Awesome.
So, and I'm just thinking of this in my head, so I'm going to write this down. So I put it in the back end of the website once we get off. But the name of this podcast is The Reset. So the code will be The Reset. And we can do a 20% off until the end of the year, because with these podcasts, they can go on forever. So at least we'll give everyone a year to use it.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm sure the audience will adore that. Thank you.
So the reset will be the code. I'm writing it down now so I can put it in. So there we go.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. That's fantastic. See, look at the audience getting presents. Like, these are the best things ever.
But, one thing that we're thinking about is going into other categories. So that t-shirt idea is not a bad one.
I'm just saying, like, that is a t-shirt. I see it. I want to buy it. It's a hoodie. It's like a little live, laugh, love, like little plaques you can get like at like Pier 1 Imports. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Oh, Valerie, oh my gosh, you were just a delight to have on the show. I love your story. Thank you for your wonderful generosity. We'll put all the details in the show notes for folks to go to the website and put in the code for 20% off of the candle, including myself, which as soon as this is live, I'll go buy one. And check out the 125 collection. Like I said, all the phrases are things that you need to say to yourself, including your inner Beyonce.
Yes.
But thank you so much for being part of 29 Days of Magic.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for doing this. This is awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. And that is our show.